Today, tip of the asbestos iceberg, the nightmare continues across New South Wales. Hi again, Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics. Welcome to this post covering finance and property news. Well, more sites have now been confirmed to have asbestos, including transport infrastructure projects, primary and secondary schools, supermarkets, and hospitals, according to the EPA across New South Wales. The Premier, Chris Mims, said that the Environmental Protection Authority is examining the sites as it undertakes its largest investigation ever. And the authorities say that all but one sample has been bonded asbestos, meaning it's mixed with a harder substance such as concrete, and it's considered less immediately dangerous because the toxic particles are less likely to become airborne. But remember that exposure to asbestos fibres can cause serious health conditions like lung cancer and mesothelioma. The estimated death counts in Australia from mesothelioma and asbestos-related lung cancer from 1945 to 2020 is in the range of 60,000 to 152,000 people. These death counts are still mounting and may continue for another century or longer because asbestos exposure is a health risk. And by the way, it's estimated around 4,000 Australians die each year from asbestos-related diseases. Asbestos was banned in Australia in 2003, but it's still present in many buildings and products. Before asbestos was banned, it was used in over 3,000 products. So any structures built before 1990, from homes, garages, chook sheds, kennels, etc., are likely to contain asbestos in building materials, electrics or insulation. And asbestos is also found in older vehicles and machinery. So if you start renovating, doing repairs, or even redecorating in a home built before 1990, it's important to know that asbestos risks could lurk. But asbestos is still being brought into the country, and the costs of safe disposal are rising to the point where corners are being cut. And as my late wife Jill's work showed, which she completed before she died from mesothelioma, the risks are rising due to ignorance in the community of the real risks and a lack of political will to address the root cause issues. And an added complication is that the delay between exposure and death can be more than 30 years, but exposure can be a death sentence. Officially, sealed or bonded asbestos-containing materials in good condition are low risk, but damaged asbestos can release asbestos fibres into the air, and that's a high risk. Clearly, asbestos, which turns up in mulch, has been broken into pieces, so the risks are higher than authorities want to admit, to avoid scaring the horses. And yet the asbestos contamination in Sydney widened on Sunday, with authorities saying that the toxic material had been detected in more schools as a weeks-long effort continues to remove it from mulch used in public places. The contamination was discovered in January when asbestos was found in a playground in the New South Wales capital, and a subsequent probe found it in recycled mulch near the park built above an underground road interchange. Last week, the New South Wales government announced a special task force to investigate the asbestos contamination in the recycled mulch across Sydney. This is a criminal investigation. As a result, obviously, the EPA, while conducting contact tracing of all the mulch, and at the same time as they're doing that, securing sites, keeping the public safe, Mr. Mims said. It's only one company that is suspected of the breach. Obviously, that is an if. There's been nothing proved in court. Mulch supplier Green Life Resources Recovery Facility has denied asbestos being in their product. Green Life is confident mulch leaving our facility is free of asbestos contamination, it said in a statement. The APA used a licensed asbestos assessor to analyse the samples, and they were assisted by Fire and Rescue New South Wales to inspect more than 120 sites over the weekend. It said that 41 sites have been tested positive for bonded asbestos in total, and as of yesterday, 684 tests have returned negative results since the 10th of January. New sites where asbestos have been confirmed were 2 schools in the city's west, the EPA said, lifting the number of schools confirmed as tainted to 4. There is ongoing testing of a further 4 schools, EPA head Tony Chappell said, adding that testing was also underway at a hospital and in part of the city's vast Royal National Park. The agency on Saturday said a public school, a park, and 2 part-built housing estates were also tainted, while transport projects, a warehouse, and a hospital have also been confirmed as impacted. So in response, the state government has set up an asbestos task force to give more resources and support to the EPA in the agency's largest probe since it was established in 1991. And so far, asbestos has been found in the Roselle Parklands at 17 locations in and around the park, 2 sites along the Prospect Highway project between Prospect and Blacktown, electricity substations at Dulwich Hill, Canterbury and Campsie railway stations, Belmore railway station in a landscaped area near the car park, Punchbowl railway station in the railway corridor, Nowra Bridge, Regatta Park in Emu Plains, Liverpool West Public School, Campbelltown Hospital, Belmore Park in Haymarket, Victoria Park in Camperdown, Harmony Park in Surrey's Hill, where it was friable asbestos, the Parramatta Light Rail project at Tilopia, the St John of God Hospital in North Richmond, Woolworths in Kellyville, Transport for New South Wales Park in Wiley Park, and Embley Heights Public School, Munn Park in Millers Point, 2 new residential estates under construction in Sydney's southwest, which are not publicly accessible, Penrith Christian School in Orchard Hills, St Luke's Catholic College in Marsden Park, and 3 sites that the EPA said were not being identified for, quote, privacy reasons. Domeray College in Five Dock, Aldi Supermarket in Cobbitty, and Riverston Sports Centre in Riverston. Now, the activity underway to tackle exposed sites is frankly a pimple compared with the total load in the community. But of course, agencies do not want to take the lid off that can, so individuals must become asbestos aware. That is the cornerstone of our ongoing campaign over at Asbestos Awareness Australia. So the authorities are trying to balance not scaring the horses with regard to the community while trying to deal with the immediate issue, but they should also be thinking more broadly about asbestos in the community and how exposure to asbestos needs to be contained, specifically as more and more people want to rip out and update old properties, or indeed do the DIY themselves. So as I say, what's happening at the moment is a tip of a pretty uncomfortable and very concerning iceberg. I'm Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics. Many thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.